cars to go around the first race for 2025-2026 here at the Max Burton History Collie Speedway. It's green as they come off turn number 4. As we sail off into turn number 1 for the first of 8 occasions, and Alan Mortimer, the veteran out of Bunbury, on the outside of the front row, got a good start. Mendez follows him around the outside, from the outside of the second row up into second place. Shane Britton fighting back on the low line as the modified sedans race their way into the front straight before a great crowd on this Saturday night. A little bit chilly, but it's going to be a great night of Speedway sedan racing to kick things off for this season. And Shane Britton fighting back on Mendez, takes back second. Mendez had a bit of a look back to Anthony King and Darren Carroll in Cunningham 83 rounds them out, but you can see a couple of cars not handling it as though the drivers would like. So interesting start to the season. It's always the case. They tinker, they try different things in the winter months, and then great opportunity to have some trial and error tonight before the first round of the Modified Sedan Series for 2025-2026 next Saturday night in what you call the northern wheat belt here in the west, up there in Mora. But it's Mortimer who leads the way. No electronic timing on the cars tonight, so I can't give you any times. But I can tell you the way they run on track at the moment, and it's Alan Mortimer who's had a couple of moments, and 2 very experienced campaigners in Shane Britton and Nino Mendez trying to close the gap on the Blackman Fabrication Falcon here in the front straight for Mortimer Racing and United Fasteners. Anthony King runs 4th, and rounding them out, Darren Carroll, that brand new race car, just staying in contention with the rest of the field. No points or anything for their state series on the line tonight. Just a test session, not that Mendez would know it. He's widest of all coming into the front straight. Nearly found the concrete wall. So we come past the start finish line. He's on the outside of Shane Britton. They're side by side as they exit turn number 2. Mortimer has a moment. And the club president of Wamda, Shane Britton, looks to the inside. This is great stuff from the modified sedans. Only a 5-car field, but pretty tightly contested as they exit turn number 4 and come down the front straight. Mortimer just barely holding off Britton, Mendez and King at the moment. 4 drivers that have raced in many, many big events in their careers. Britton to the outside of Mortimer. He takes the lead to Shane Britton on the back straight. He found a bit of racetrack to work with on the exit of turn number 2. Sailed around the outside of Alan Mortimer, who probably hasn't raced since going over east last summer towards the end of the season. Mendez has stopped the 98 Commodore down there in Palmer's, and it might necessitate a yellow. In fact, we've gone yellow, I do believe. And just check from our lap scoring team next door how many laps there are remaining. Race has been declared. There we go. So the win will go the way, I do believe, of Cunningham 88. We're not going back a lap or anything like that. So the win will go the way of the 88 Shane Britton, from 74 Alan Mortimer, 51 Anthony King, and 83 Darren Carroll. And Des will be credited with 5th place for being the cause of the stoppage. Having trouble even refiring the Mendez race engines 98. Here we go. The assistance of the Collie tyre power ute. And a freshly watered racetrack for these guys at the start of the second round. It's King and Mendez on the front row, Carroll, Britton and Mortimer. The 5 cars to do battle over the 8 laps as they hit the loud pedal and sail off into Cardinals corner for the first time. And Anthony King, former state champion in this class, in prominent in modified sedans for some time now, leads down the back straight. And Mendez, who added on finishing his opening heat in the modified, of course, he's in the production sedan tonight as well. Quickly up in a second in the Morn Motorsport entry from Alan Mortimer, Darren Carroll and Shane Britton, rounding him out in the ABBL contracting Commodore. There's Mortimer, one of 3 Falcons in the modified sedan field tonight, up into 3rd place, trying to run down both Mendez and Anthony King as they exit turn number 4. Not sure if they've set themselves up for a wet racetrack, but she's very slippery underfoot now after that water being put down. Darren Carroll ran pretty wide on the exit of turn number 4 that last time around as they head down the back straight to our modified sedans, led by 2018 state champion in this class, Anthony King. Exits turn number 2, heads down the back straight into Cardinals again, just hugging the pole line ahead of Mendez, Mortimer. Then Shane Britton they're all going to be regulars with the modified sedans this season. The 4 out in front along with Darren Carroll. Going to be a good season for the modified sedans as they race their way around the state. As the Mendez Race Engines Falcon of Anthony King heads past the bar into turn number 1. Mendez, Mortimer and Britton seem content to just follow him along on the pole line. It's a test and tune night for the modified sedans. Albeit when the helmet goes on, you want to be the winner at the end of when the checkered flag falls. A little bit of smoke just coming from the engine room of the 51 of Anthony King. Hopefully nothing too terminal. Well, the man who originally hails out of Mora, which will be the home of next weekend's season opener for the modified sedan series. Mendez trying to find a way past the Mendez Race Engines number 98. That smoke just getting a little bit worse for our leader, Anthony King, as the modified sedans exit turn number 4 and head down the front straight. The Burston's Garage number 51, Anthony King, just holding on at the moment from Mendez. Former state champion Alan Mortimer, it's street stock and modified sedan, runs third for Blackman Fabrication. Shane Britton and Darren Carroll, his first start in some time, rounds about in car number 83, the beautifully turned out Falcon. But one to run, and Mendez pressuring Anthony King. The down under graphics number 98 trying to find a way past Anthony King as they race past the bar for the final occasion here in heat number 2 of the modified sedans. Out of turn 2 and down the back straight, past the KJB sign into turn number 3. Mendez pokes the nose underneath of Anthony King, but the modified sedans will conclude heat number 2 with the win going the way of Anthony King. Narrowly holds off Mendez, Mortimer and Shane Britton in a blanket finish for the top 4, with the 83 of Darren Carroll rounding them out in another car supported by Mazda down there in Bunbury. But smoking Anthony King will get there by less than a car length. Of course, no electronic timing on the cars tonight. Well, straight into the third round of racing here today to the Max Bowen History Collie Speedway modified sedans, heat number 3. Very slow rolling start. They're green. I don't think they knew they were coming around for a start. That's the slowest rolling start you'll ever see for a modified sedan race. The only one that was onto it was Anthony King. Went from the outside, or the third row, and he's lonesome, up into third place. As I speak, Shane Britton quickly works to the inside of the 51 of Anthony King as they work through Palmer's corner, but it's the 2 Falcons, Mortimer and Carroll, both from Bunbury, who run 1-2. Shane Britton tries to go to the outside of the 83 down in Cardinals corner, moves up into second place, puts Carroll back to third from King, and also the 98 of Neno Mendez driving the Jaden Mornone Commodore tonight for Mendez Race Engines, trying to get amongst it. But the wily veteran from the Bunbury Car Club, Alan Mortimer, long-time campaigner in street stock and modified sedan here in the West Brisbane, a state champion in both classes, leads the way. Look at Shane Britton hustling the Commodore to the low line on the exit of turn number 2 from Carroll, King and Morn, with the 2 up front, juking it out. Both former state champions in this class here in the West. And Alan Mortimer and 74 for Blackman Fabrication. And 88 for ABBL Contracting over the midwest of our state in Shane Britton. The WAMDA president ranging up on Alan Mortimer as they enter turn number 3. The 88 Commodore trying to find a way past the 74 Falcon. It's just a club show. No points on the line for their state series, but they're juking it out at the front of the field. Mortimer and 74. And Shane Britton throwing everything but the kitchen sink of the Falcon in front of him. They exit turn number 2. Both these drivers headed east to the National Modified Sedan title back at Easter at Mildura. They run 1-2 at the moment. Further back, Mendez to the inside on Darren Carroll on the exit of turn number 4. The 98 goes up into third place. But the interest really lies for the battle for the race lead as they exit turn number 2. Past the KJB sign into turn number 3. And the 88 Commodore for ABBL Contracting, Shane Britton, is trying to mow down the 74 of Alan Mortimer. The big Falcon making it very wide to pass here at Collie with 2 to run in the final heat race of the night for the modified sedans as Shane Britton just prop mid-corner down there in 1 and 2. Well, Palmer's here in Collie. Gives up a bit of ground to Alan Mortimer in the process as Mort brings the big Falcon out of turn number 4. Greets a white flag from Ian Crow, 1 to run. In the adrenaline performance, the number 74 for United Fasteners and Blackman Fabrication. He exits turn number 2. Shane Britton with a nice run on the pole line on the exit, but I don't think he's going to find a way past one of the all-time greats from the Bunbury Car Club, and Alan Mortimer. He exits turn number 4 and he narrowly prevails over Shane Britton in an entertaining heat number 3 of the modified sedans, which goes green to checker without a stoppage. Nino Mendez will be third from the 83 Darren Currell. And a slightly smoking number 51 of Anthony King had a heat win earlier tonight. Will follow him home. They're in heat number 3 of the modified sedans. But Alan Mortimer got some family and some friends in the house tonight, just residing down at Bunbury. They'll be happy with that performance, holding off Shane Britton. It's a small field of modifieds, but oh so tough. Third last race of the night, modified sedans, 12-lap final. Alan Mortimer, Shane Britton, pair of former state champions on the front row. Nino Mendez, Anthony King, and Darren Currell's the way they'll line up. First senior feature race of the season here in Collie is underway. And Alan Mortimer leads down the back straight. A couple of them just caught out by the slippery conditions down there in turns 1 and 2. Been a little bit of water put down on the racetrack prior to these 3 senior finals. But the wily veteran from the Bunbury Car Club, who's still got a very quick motor car, raced it all over the country over the last 10 to 15 years. Alan Mortimer, regular state national titles in his time in street stocks and modified sedans. And no stranger to the make-smoking history, Collie Speedway. The Blackman Fabrication Falcon heads down the front straight, leads away from Shane Britton, the ABBL Contracting Commodore. Back in second from Anthony King. Nino Mendez and Darren Currell. Great to see him in the modified sedan. Ranks this season as Nino Mendez kisses the concrete wall on the back straight. Might have given the 98 a bit of damage. Gathers it up with a mere flesh wound on the door of car number 98. Falling into the clutches of Darren Currell down there in Cardinals Corner. But back up front, it's all the 2009 WA champion in modified sedan. Won that title at Esperance, did Alan Mortimer. Back in 09, been a runner-up as well in the modified sedan state title. Been the top 5 on many occasions, won plenty of WAMDA rounds over the journey as well. Shane Britton, speaking of WAMDA, president of the West Australian Modified Sedan Drivers Association, trying to close the gap as they come into the front straight. And the ABBL Contracting Commodore trying to run down Alan Mortimer as they exit turn number 2 and head down the back straight. Long way back to Anthony King, the Falcon, former state champion in this class as well, as our modified sedans make their way into the front straight away here on a Saturday night in Collie. And Shane Britton trying to close the gap on the race leader, Alan Mortimer. And pretty tough to tame tonight as Mort in car 74. He's relished the off-season break to do some fine-tuning and some R&D in the Falcon. But he leads down the front straight. Shane Britton tries he may, just can't really make too much of an impression on the 74 in front of him of Alan Mortimer. Shane Britton back in second and a long way back to the 51 for Burson's Auto Parts. And Anthony King, a long-time campaigner in a variety of classes here on the West Coast. Sounds like the Falcon running on about 5 cylinders for Anthony King. Back there in third place from Darren Currell. And Nino Mendez in the borrowed car, doing double duty tonight in modifieds and productions in the Jaden Maund own number 98, tail of the field. But through Cardinals Corner once again, it's Alan Mortimer. The gap shrunk ever so slightly back to Shane Britton as they exit turn number 2 and head down the back straight. King still in third from Currell and Mendez. But with 2 to run, Alan Mortimer on his way to a big feature win to start the season, albeit a non-points event for the modified sedans. It's really a great way to start the season for Alan Mortimer as he brings the 74 car out of turn number 4 down the front straight. Shane Britton ever so slightly closing that gap on the Blackman Fabrication Falcon of Alan Mortimer as they exit turn number 2 and head down the back straight to turn number 3 for the final time. Shane Britton closes the gap. I don't think he's quite going to get there, and Alan Mortimer will narrowly prevail over the 88 of Shane Britton. He's got behind the lap car there of Nino Mendez in the concluding stages. A smoking Anthony King will be a distant third. And further back to the Spencer Motors Well, the Bunbury Mazda 83 these days of Darren Carroll. And Nino Mendez will run them out in the Morn Motorsport Commodore.
Darren Hand, yeah. You can stand on the so you'll be shorter and shorter. Thanks, Darren. Third place tonight, Anthony King. Second place, Shane Britton. And first place, the old fox that put a street stock driver, Alan Mortimer. That's twice it. He loves it here. Well done, mate. All right, we'll let Morty have a speech for all.
First, thanks to Collie Speedway for having us. Like I say, it'd be good for some more numbers. Hopefully we get that when we come back for the Christmas Cup. I'd like to thank Colleen for everything she does for me, all my sponsors that help me out throughout the year, both here and when we travel over the eastern states. But again, I said it last time I won here, there's only people here that really need the appreciation, and that's all the volunteers that make these shows happen. Because without them, none of us would be racing. So for all the volunteers, I thank you very much for everything you do.